Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. As we've seen over the course of Warzone so far, the meta has gone back and forth a lot. There was a time when the Grau was the top dog, the Bruin was also up there, and in between there's been a handful of other best weapons as well. But here in Season 6, as I've said before, I honestly think the meta is in a pretty good spot for the most part, and today we're focused on the best of the best and ranking the top 5 best loadouts to use right now. So as we go through all the setups, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, we are getting super close to 600k subs. We are working to hit that milestone before Cold War drops. So if you like what you see, if you want to stay up to date with pretty much everything going on in COD, feel free to hit that sub button and maybe even turn on those post notifications. Now, as always with the loadouts for Warzone, I'm pretty much using the same perks and equipment on the vast majority of my classes, so we're just going to go over those once at the start. That way, we can just focus on the weapons for the remainder of the video. So at number 5, this class is really focused on the PKM LMG. And to be honest, this may actually be one of the more underrated weapons on the list today, but don't let that deter you from it because the PKM is an absolute beast, alright? This thing packs a punch. It has got some serious damage, also some really good range. It's overall, I would say, very easy to use with the control as well, and despite it being an LMG, it's actually pretty agile too. Now, the only real downside to it is that you gotta spend a solid chunk of time reloading, but you do get 100 rounds by default, so that's not a super common thing as is. So on the PKM, I like to run the monolithic suppressor. You guys already know what the deal is with that one. Really nothing new there. Then I've got the heavy barrel. It's going to increase the range and control. It's not going to slow you down too much like the larger barrel would, so that's definitely my go-to there. Then that's followed by the snatch grip, which is kind of a unique attachment because it actually increases the control and the mobility. Then I've got the tac laser for better speed and stability, and finally the blue dot hollow sight. However, that's more so just preference there. You could also run the VOK 3x optic or anything else you like the look of in the optics category in general. Now, as far as the secondary goes here, you can honestly pretty much run anything here, whether that be an SMG, a shotty, so on and so forth, and we'll be running through a few of those setups here in just a moment. Now, as far as my perks go, like always, I've got EOD, Overkill, and Amped to start. Then I swap to EOD, Ghost, and Amped whenever I get my second loadout. That way I can stay off the radar and use 2 maxed out weapons. Then for the equipment, right now it's honestly a pretty big toss-up between the Thermite, the Semtex, and then the C4. Really, any of those are going to work depending on your playstyle. Then personally, I still prefer the heartbeat sensor as well. Now, moving into loadout number 4 here, this one is all about the car and the MP7, and this is easily my favorite loadout to use in the entire game. It is really aggressive, it's really fun, and it is so satisfying between the one-shot headshots with the car and the really nice range that the MP7 has too. So with those, if you like to snipe and if you like to play aggressive, this pretty much offers the best of both worlds, and like I said, this is my go-to setup when it comes to just playing fast and playing hectic and trying to go for some nice clips. So when it comes to the MP7, here I've got the monolithic suppressor once more, the recon barrel for that better range and control, the tac laser for all the same reasons as before, the 60 round mags to make those cleanups and squad wipes a bit easier, and finally the stipple grip tape for even better mobility as well. Now on the car, I've got the monolithic suppressor once more, the 27.6 inch barrel for the best range possible, the tac laser mainly for the speed increase, the variable zoom scope, although that one is a bit more preference based, then the stipple grip tape as well. And with this one, the car is going to get more hit markers than say the HDR or the AX50 would at a longer range, but it is still a one-shot headshot, and that, my friends, is what makes it so much fun to use. Then getting into loadout number 3, this one is based around the M4A1, which really has consistently been one of the best weapons all throughout the year, both in multiplayer and of course here in Warzone 2. The M4 is just a great all-around weapon. The range on it is really nice, and it's one of those rifles that can surprisingly hold its own in those close, medium, and long-range engagements. Not to mention, it's one of the easiest weapons to use in terms of overall control. The recoil here, let's be honest, is basically non-existent. It is a super easy pattern to learn, and then after that, you've got a laser beam of a weapon that's going to compete in any kind of gunfight it gets into. Now, as far as the attachments here go, I've got, brace yourselves for this one, the suppressor, and it is indeed monolithic. Then I've got the Corvus Marksman barrel. Personally, this feels a bit better than the M16 barrel, at least in my opinion. It feels like it's more lightweight and agile, but it's still very consistent across all ranges. However, if you do want a bit more control and then a slightly slower speed, the M16 is going to be a perfectly fine option too. After that, I've got the Commando foregrip for some recoil control, the 60 round mags for the same reasons as before, and finally, the Stippy Grippy, the icon itself yet again. Now, as far as loadout number 2 goes, this one is especially effective when it comes to slaying out pretty much at all ranges. This one is based around the CR56 AMAX and then the R90 shotgun. Now, even with the AA12, even with the Origin's latest nerf only being a minor one, to me at least, the R90 just feels like the best option in the shotgun category, even though the setup is a bit toxic. Then as far as the AMAX goes, as we talked about here on the channel recently, the AMAX is one of the best weapons in the entire game because it is just so powerful when it comes down to it. Yeah, it's got some recoil, and yes, it is a bit slower than some of the other rifles. However, once you master that recoil pattern, the power that the AMAX offers, it is just honestly absolutely insane, and it's going to melt through everyone and everything. So on the AMAX, I'm running the monolithic suppressor, the Zodiac barrel for the best control and range, the Ranger foregrip for the best control, the 45 round mags because that's the largest option we've got there, and then finally the VOK 3x optic for a bit more control and some better visibility as well. Then for the R90, here I've got the choke for better range, the Sentry barrel for more of the same, the 5mW laser for better hipfire accuracy, the Dragon's Breath rounds, which I'm not gonna lie, kind of pains me to say, but yeah, they're toxic. However, when you're trying to win against a high-skilled team, that extra damage after impact can honestly come in pretty clutch. Then finally, I've got the grip tape that is stippled for better mobility. Then, coming in at number 1, at least in my opinion, the best loadout to use in all of Warzone right now features the Kilo 141 and the MP5 SMG. And to be honest, some of you probably saw this one coming. Really, ever since the Grau and the Bruin were nerfed, the Kilo has remained untouched at that number 1 spot. And by the way, the Grau and the Bruin are still great weapons for what it's worth, but the Kilo just has the control, it's got the range, the damage, all of it. So that ease of use and just overall efficiency combined makes it way too good to pass up. Then the MP5 is just the MP5. I mean, that's really all there is to it. Yes, some other SMGs have more range like the MP7 and maybe even the Striker, but the mobility, the damage, and the control on the MP5 are also great when combined, so it really can't be beaten when it comes to consistency there. So on the Kilo, I've got the monolithic suppressor once more, the Prowler barrel, the Commando foregrip, the 60 round mags, and then also the blue dot hollow sight. And then on the MP5, I'm running the monolithic integral suppressor, which is actually a bit better than the regular monolithic, alongside the Merc foregrip for better accuracy and control, the 45 round mags, the stipple grip tape, and then finally sleight of hand for a faster reload. So yeah, there you have it. Those are the top 5 loadouts to run here in Warzone as of right now, and that is going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, or if you just found it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. And, of course, if you're new here, we are working towards 600,000 subs before Cold War drops. So if you want to help us reach that goal, if you want to stay on top of the latest Call of Duty news, intel, updates, setups, and basically everything else in between, feel free to hit that sub button. That way you'll always know whenever I upload a new video. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WhosImmortal for a spicy discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, and Control Freak products. All of those links can be found down in the description below, and once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.